Roadmap to Victory is sponsored by the R&R family of companies.
Well, welcome back to Nittany Game Week. 6 games, 6 victories. That's the number that truly matters for the Nittany Lions. Prepare for your opponent and figure out a way to beat them. Coach Bradley, Coach Paterno, a deeper dive into some of the numbers from the first half shows us how they're getting the job done and some areas to address in their final bye week of the regular season.
Well, this bye week falls at a great time. It's exactly halfway through the season. 6 games gone, 6 games left to go. So let's take a look at some of the numbers of 2023 versus 2024. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. Penn State, one of the things that's surprising is their scoring's down a little bit, Tom. What's one of the major factors there?
They're getting field goals instead of touchdowns.
Yeah, the red zone
touchdown is the biggest thing, and that's they've got to score when they get that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean if that's the one thing we're being critical of, that's not a bad thing. But the run offense has improved, the pass offense has improved, but the turnovers have gone up, Tom, and that could be a problem against some of your better teams.
Yeah, that's one of the things. You don't want to turn it over and give people field position.
Yeah, now let's take a look at the defense. Again, a really good defensive unit last year, pretty much the same. The one thing, Tom, again, they have improved in the red zone a lot on defense.
They sure have. That's a big jump right there, and so they're losing out on the offense, they're picking it up on the defense.
Yeah, no question. So let's take a look at some of them a little more in depth. Numbers are very, very similar. The number of sacks have gone down, tackles for losses, those disruptive plays and turnovers, that's something to look for in the second half. Now let's talk about what has happened and where we've been and where we're going the first 6 games. Tom, you mentioned this off camera. The road wins are really, really big there.
They sure are. That's one of the things. They've been on the road. They've done a great job on the road. As you know, the road's not an easy place to play.
And the record not very good, and that's about to change. The heavier lifting is coming. You go from a 14-22 record of opponents to 21-7, and you have tough opponents: Wisconsin, Ohio State, Washington. Those are some teams you got to be aware of. And now let's talk about those things. Let's take a look at the coming attractions, so to speak. When you look at who we've played and who Penn State is going, the statistics are all better. They're playing better offenses, better defenses, so they'll have to accelerate what they're doing in terms of both sides of the ball, bigger challenges. And as we mentioned those challenges, let's talk about and take a quick sneak peek. I know we don't like to look ahead, but starting October 26th, in Madison, Wisconsin, at night, Tom, always a lot of fun.
And they had to make it a night game.
They had to make it a night game.
That place would be wild.
Yeah, Wisconsin's offense has become resurgent as of late. The last couple of weeks, made some changes at quarterback and at running back, and they've become a much different offensive football team. Now, after that, then you start talking about Washington. On November 9th, the Huskies come into town, and 2 names you might want to look at: offensive coordinator Brennan Carroll, defensive coordinator Steve Belichick. Tom, they may know a thing or two about coaching.
I think they've been around football a long time, those 2 guys.
Yeah, so you're going to see some things on both sides of those ball. That is a team that has played really well at times, but they've hurt themselves with missed field goals and missed 4th downs. If they put those things together, that could be a really difficult situation for Penn State. Let's talk about Purdue. Going out to Purdue on the 16th. Purdue has really, really struggled. I can expect that one to be the same way, but again, that's another one you got to show up. Now, November 23rd, Tom, I know you like this one because you were you're one of those guys always coaching the sideline. At Minnesota, November 23rd, outdoors. Tom, you got to pack the long johns, right?
I think it will be very cold that day.
No question. And Minnesota is a team that is 2 plays from really being in the mix. They missed a field goal against North Carolina. They beat USC. And then November 30th, the season finale at home against Maryland. Tom, every year Maryland talks about how they're going to come in and beat Penn State, and what happens?
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. I completely agree with that. They put up big offensive numbers. They beat Penn State in 2020. Since then, they've been outscored by a very wide margin, 112-29. They've been outscored by Penn State. Oh, and by the way, we skipped over this little game on November the 2nd. As we talk about the Buckeyes coming to town, do not be fooled by that Oregon loss. Those are 2 really good football teams. Everybody talks about the wideout Jeremiah Smith. You got Ibuka, you got Judkins, you got Henderson at tailback who can really, really run. And don't be fooled. They also, with their top 10 offense, they've got a top 10 defense. Now, sneak peeks this weekend. You want to get a look at some of these teams. Here's where they're playing. 3 of them are off, so you can get a little scouting report of your own as you watch them this weekend. And Todd, That's what I'll be doing on Saturday.
Thank you, coaches. The trip out west is now an annual thing for Penn State, and the Nittany Lions fans are all about it. We caught up with someone the day before the game, hanging around the Coliseum, trying to catch a glimpse of the venue. They were excited about the game at USC and future visits to UCLA, Washington, and Oregon.
I've already visited every existing Big Ten stadium, so now we've added these 4 teams to the conference, so my plan is to go to all of them. So I think they're playing UCLA in the Rose Bowl next year. Wherever they're playing, take the trip and come out and see all these stadiums and get a chance to meet some new Penn State fans that are on the West Coast, so it should be a lot of fun.
It is UCLA next year, at Washington in 2026, at Oregon in 2027, and back to the Coliseum in 28. Our Impact interview guest this week knows a lot about the West Coast additions to the conference. Former Pac-12 Network and now Big Ten Network host Ashley Adamson joins us with her unique perspective on how the new programs are adapting to their new home. We'll talk with Ashley when we come back here on Nittany Game Week.